We are on. Good morning, and welcome to the January 27, 2020 Board of County Commissioners Agenda Review Work Session. I'm John Hutchings, and to my right is...
Ty Menser.
To my left?
Gary Edwards.
All right.
Thomasina Cooper.
Romero Chavez.
And on the bench?
Phoebe Johnson. Native Forest.
Yes, thank you all for being here this morning or watching. We're going to do the BoCC draft agenda and then go through some commissioner items.
Yeah, a little bit of unusual for you to review the agenda. Under normal circumstances, you will review the agenda tomorrow morning for the afternoon. But tomorrow afternoon, Board of County Commissioners meeting is off-site. It's going to be located, it's going to be at 5:30 in the afternoon on the Farm Bureau building located in Carpenter Road. And the reason that you will be reviewing this agenda is to give you enough time for changes or any suggestions you may have, because since there is a off-site meeting, the agenda needs to be set 24 hours in advance. So I want to make sure that you have enough time for you to provide any feedback or implement any changes on the agenda this morning.
All right, thank you. And joining us this morning is?
Good morning, Robin Campbell, Assistant County Manager.
Thank you. So to reiterate, tomorrow, January 28th, BoCC meeting is off-site at the Washington Farm Bureau on Carpenter Road Northeast in Lacey, Olympia, Lacey. It's right on the cusp. I forget, I think we said Lacey. And it's at 5:30 in the evening. We'll call the meeting to order. And the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Vice Chair of the Board, Ty Menser. Then we'll approve the meeting agenda and the meeting minutes from the 14th of January. Then we go through presentations, and the first one is...
Yeah, the first presentation you will have is for the Board of County Commissioners to proclaim the month of February 2020 as the African American History Month in Thurston County. Ms. Thelma Jackson will be in attendance to receive the proclamation, and I believe she's working and maybe bringing additional citizens for you to be part of that proclamation.
Perfect. Questions or comments?
Do we have a draft circulating?
Yes, you do. And I'm not certain whose office it is right now, but there is a draft. Staff has reviewed it, and it's ready for your final. Okay.
Kelly has the yellow packet for signatures, and I have not seen it. I haven't gone inside, but it might be in there.
It is inside there, and it's for your review, but we have had several reviews already.
Okay. Questions or comments on it? Okay. Thank you. And then a public defense presentation.
Yeah, the next three items is an opportunity for some of the departments to explain to the public or give some presentations related to what they do for the citizens of Thurston County. So the first presentation is by Patrick O'Connor. He is the Director of Public Defense. Well, he will be outlining in about 10-minute presentation as to what his office does for the citizens of Thurston County.
Okay. Anything?
No.
Anytime?
No.
All right. Go ahead, sir.
The next presentation is by Mary Ann Clear. She's the Director of Pretrial Services, and she will describe again what her department does in terms of the and within the whole law and justice system.
All right. Anything on that? Nope.
Nope.
All right. Public health.
And the third presentation is from Kelly Murno and Tom Webster. They will be giving you a presentation related to some of the homeless and affordable housing efforts. They will be concentrating on the homeless and housing prevention programs, as well as the Regional Housing Council, and how that group is coming together to address this very regional and complex issue of homelessness. And again, it will be 10 minutes.
That'll be good.
And also, she'll be.
Good timing.
It's timely because the site that the board selected for a potential regional transition site is located in Carpenter Road in Martin Way, so just down the road from from the meeting, where the meeting is going to be held. So I would assume that probably some citizens may be coming and having a conversation with you on that as well.
Okay. Anything? Commissioner Edwards, anything?
No.
All right, opportunity for the public to address the board.
Yeah, I hope that a lot of citizens will take the opportunity to address the board tomorrow. Really, it's an opportunity for go out to the community and for the citizens to be heard by you. So hopefully, and I'm expecting to have some public testimony related to that.
Okay. You aware of any other issues
No.
that might come up? All right. County manager's update.
I will provide an update in terms of some of the public testimony documentation you have received. One is from Mr. Pettit. He submitted a letter to you back in January 14th. I submitted a response letter last Friday to Mr. Pettit, and he just submitted another letter this morning. I have to read it. And I will outline some of the overall gist of his letters as well as the responses that we have done to address his questions. Also, I will walk you through in general terms some of the accomplishments, some of the departments in 2019.
All right. And then consent items A through F, and the first one is Public Works.
Yeah, you reviewed this item last week, Commissioners, and this is for your consideration to reclassify the Noxious Weeds and Lake District Manager to Noxious Weeds Technician 1. When the reorganization happened in Public Works to bring water resources into Public Works, it also created the opportunity to consolidate some of the lakes as well as stormwater and noxious weeds into a single leadership, and that will be Tim Wilson. He is the Water Resources Program Manager. So as a result, he vacated his previous position, which is the Noxious Weeds and Lakes Manager. The department has gone through the process of reorganizing and seeing what the best fit will be for this vacancy, and they have concluded in reclassifying this manager position to a Noxious Weed Specialist 1. This action will result in reducing the budget from $7,810 a month to $5,006 per month. That will be a reduction of $2,804 a month, with 36% decrease as a result of this reorganization.
Okay. Anything on that?
No.
Anything?
Is that going to cost some individual some of their salary, or is that in the future?
No, this is a vacant position.
Okay.
All right, then that was 3A. 3B is appointment to the Agritourism Advisory Committee.
Following up on the direction by the board, this is for you to formally appoint Mr. Nathan Allen and Barbara Anaya to the Agri-Tourism Advisory Committee for the term that has an end date of January 2022.
Okay. Anything? No. Perfect. 3C, Information Technology, Petty Cash.
Yeah, this is another step as a result of the reorganization of creating a new IT department in the county and moving some funds from central services to the IT department. In this case, is for you to consider assigning the responsibility of the petty cash fund and moving from central services, which is Fund 5210, to Information Technologies Operations Fund, which is 5250. 5210, 5250. Yeah.
No.
Nope. 3D, David or Delta Emergency Services.
Yeah, on the Thurston County Code, it is required that you approve the renewal of licenses, operation licenses for ambulance services to operate in Thurston County. This particular proposal is for you to consider renewing the operations for 2020 for Olympic and AMR ambulances companies here in Thurston County, and that is related to Chapter 6 of the Thurston County Code. Both companies have been paid their $100 application fee, And the EMS Counsel has reviewed their applications. They're recommending you approving the renewal of their licenses for 2020.
Okay,
And Kurt
questions?
Harding, the Director of Emergency Services, here, if you'd like to ask him any questions.
Any questions? Nope, we're good. Thank you, thanks for being here, Kurt. 3E, Treasurer, Tax Title Property.
For your consideration, Commissioners, for authorize the treasurer to sell the property to an individual in a private negotiation. And this is related to a tax title property located on and within the city of Olympia boundaries nearby the LBA Park. This is a property 0.24 acres and is encumbered by wetlands. 3 weeks ago, the board had some questions related to that. I believe I addressed those questions last week related to the potential of woodland mitigation. And as a result, I recommend for you to go ahead and authorize the treasurer to enter into this private negotiation to dispose of this property, and as a result, getting this property into the tax roll. And again, this is at 0.24 acres encumbered by wetlands, and the proposed selling price is $763.50, and that includes all the fees associated with the transaction.
I believe this is the one off of Boulevard and Log Cabin. Oh, yeah, okay.
I spoke with the treasurer about this and asked a few questions. I'm satisfied with it.
Just one thing, I see quite often in our vouchers that there's a tax title search that goes into these properties, and it's like, I want to say it's $400 or something through the title company.
It's a title report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that also reimbursed to the county at the time of the sale for that particular title search? Because I see we have quite a few of them. We had about, I don't know, 6 or 7, and they were each $400 and some the other day when I went through vouchers. So I just wonder if we're recouping that along with
That's a good question.
back taxes
Yeah.
and all the other stuff.
I will
that goes
follow
along
up
with
on
it.
that question, Commissioner. I'm not sure about that, but I will follow
And
up.
I guess if we're not, I would be concerned with the sale. If we are, I'm okay with it. I just don't want the taxpayers stuck through some administrative oversight.
So you don't want to take an action
Oh,
tomorrow?
no. If
on
you
this?
find out that
Well,
we're recovering,
the timing, I don't know if I can get that answer for you before tomorrow.
well, okay, then can't we, if need be, if you find out we're not getting reimbursed or don't recover that money, why can't we amend the agenda the night of the meeting? Is that possible?
That's difficult because it's an outside meeting. But again,
Well,
I think if
okay.
the board would like to take this item from the agenda today, give me direction.
I'd like to do it too, but.
I don't know if
wanna
we
make
need to,
sure.
because all we're doing with this action is authorizing the treasurer to enter into negotiation. So if we go ahead with this item, doesn't mean we don't get it, doesn't mean we do get it, just entering into the negotiation.
Yeah, I'm fine with entering into it. I mean, I would like to recover everything we've got due.
Or is this authorizing the sale via the private negotiation that perhaps has already taken place? Because you have a dollar
No,
figure.
it has not taken place.
Okay.
Because the treasurer needs your authorization to enter into those negotiations.
Right, and so the property, the amount of money you gave is what the property is worth? Or that's the tax?
That's what is.
700.
That's what's encumbered against the property as far as we know up to this point.
Right.
Yeah.
But we don't know that answer that I just asked the question for.
I'll get that answer for you.
So my 2 cents is that I see that as a separate policy issue, not necessarily needing to hang up this transaction, but the question is, do we, as a matter of course, amend that and get reimbursed? And maybe if we don't now, we should in the future. It's something for us to discuss.
And that will be probably my suggestion. And I guess I have to see and get to the detail as to what is allowable to charge to a citizen in a private negotiation. I know the board has the latitude to set a price because you're not bound on the suggested, in this case, $763. So perhaps if that is a direction in the future, they would like to see that you like to recover some of those costs if they have not included in here yet, then I will certainly work with the treasurer to do that.
I'm okay. I think
Yeah.
Commissioner Mentzer's idea is fine.
But he can also, the treasurer could also broach that topic with this potential buyer as a part of negotiation, if it's appropriate and legal, and we're not already doing that. Okay, yeah, I'm okay with keeping it on there.
It was a couple $1,000s in that last voucher that went through, just so you know. Because there were, I don't know, there were 7 or 8 properties.
Different properties.
Yeah,
different
not
properties.
on this issue, but they were all the same for the title search, and I don't
And
recall the amount, but it was like
It was
$462
$400,
or
and
something like
And
that.
is a high-level title report.
Yes.
The treasurer needs to conduct before puts those properties to auction.
That's a very good question, though. Yeah. Any further on that one? All right. 3F is the voucher list, and it sounds like you've gone through it.
I have,
I have, and any questions or comments
no, sir.
on that? Okay. Taking us to agenda item number 4, Public Works, contract for Public Works for Fish Passage Enhancement Program.
Yeah, you reviewed this item last week, and these are the recommendations for you to consider awarding the contract for the fabrication of 2 steel bridges related to the Fish Enhancement Program. And the recommendations for you to consider awarding Contec, the company named Contec Engineered Solutions LLC from Westchester, Ohio. On January 16th, we received only 1 bid associated with this contract. And the total cost, the low bid was $262,391.69. And the department is requesting for you to consider an additional 10% to cover any unexpected overruns during construction or the fabrication of those 2 bridges for a total of $288,630. Those 2 bridges will be located, and again, as part of the fish barrier program, removal program that we have in the county, and that will be one in Piesner Road and Jones Road Southwest. Steve Johnson from Public Works is here. I know the board had some questions related to the bidding process, and he's here to walk you through as to what is the public outreach, or how we go about in advertising not just this, but any public-related project, and open up for questions the board may have.
Okay, do you want to go through your outreach first?
I can go through a very brief outline of our process, and then feel free to
Please,
ask questions in more depth.
Thank you, Steve.
So in general, we have a purchasing policy with Thurston County. A lot of that is very much based for public works contracts, based on state law. For bidding, we prepare our plans, specifications, and estimates prior to bidding. There's a whole process for that. Plans demonstrate what we want built, specifications have more detail on that, and the estimate is the engineer's estimate of what we expect it to cost. Then we go through the bidding process. We need permission to put that up for advertisement for our larger contracts. We respond to questions during the bidding process as well. We want to make it even, fair for all potential bidders during that process, so we respond to all questions publicly with a very formal response. If it's a simple response to questions, we'll post an informational communication which lists the question that was asked with that response. It doesn't change any of the contract documents. But if there's any change to the contract documents based on some of those questions or responses, then we have to issue an addendum, which is then built into the contract itself. After bids are opened, and there's a process for that as well, then we review those bids. We make sure that every bidder was responsive, meaning they included everything necessary with the bid, and that they're responsible, meaning that they are registered as a proper entity. They meet all the requirements. They haven't been debarred or had some issues with their legal responsibilities. And we also check the math to make sure that the numbers are correct. Then we recommend award, or in occasion, we do recommend rejecting of those bids. Once that action is taken by the board, We then sign contracts or deal with the consequences of rejecting. And the rejecting of all bids doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. And there are real consequences to that, and there are potential consequences to that. And again, we can get into that if there are any concerns. So that's our generic process. If you want to go into more questions, then feel free to let me know.
Where do we advertise those?
Oh, great. We advertise by posting newspaper advertisements. We go into the Seattle Daily Journal as well as the county's newspaper of record, which at the moment is the Olympian. And we post the documents on a website called BXWA, Builders Exchange of Washington. We also post the documents on our own Public Works page, so anybody can come in and get access to that. But the official location is the BXWA. They then hold a plan holders list so that anything that we post as far as an answer to questions gets distributed to all plan holders, which is on the BXWA site.
Do you have anything up front?
BXWA is that across Washington?
Correct. Actually, they host plans, plans and specs. They don't post the estimate until after bidding. But they host documents for a lot of agencies across Washington, across actually the Pacific Northwest.
And I would imagine that people in the industry that are looking for work are scouring these regularly as part of their ordinary course of business.
Exactly. And actually, it's mentioned in our call for bids, which goes into the advertisement as well, that that's where to look. But in general, yes, many of the contractors know to go there. That's a common location.
Okay, go ahead, Jerry.
And apparently you did not receive any other bids but this one.
That's correct.
How about phone calls? Did you have any interest by different groups that maybe then decided not to bid?
We had several phone calls. I think the only people that contacted us directly was this company, but it was several people within the company. One from the main Contech company, and then one from their bridge specific group. We had several questions from that outfit, which we responded to through addenda. There were 2 addenda on this project.
But no other inquiries from other companies that might have been eligible or maybe
Correct.
they weren't?
That's correct. Right.
About a year ago, or maybe sometime last year, it seems like we did this same thing.
Yes.
And that bid was also awarded to an out-of-state company.
Correct.
Do you recall what kind of inquiries you had on that one?
With that one, actually, we had 2 companies looking into that project. That was Contech and Big R.
Are they out-of-state people?
They're both out of state, yes.
I guess my concern is that somehow, I know we're putting out all the legal requirements
Yes.
to get the notice out, but something isn't working. I just don't understand how come a local company wouldn't be interested in bidding on this, because in both cases now, those companies that did receive a bid, might receive the bid,
Sure.
have to pay for a lot of shipping costs, and if you want to talk about a carbon footprint for the planet or something, is that all good stuff? So I've got a real concern that we're not reaching potential bidders adequately. And I'm not saying you guys aren't doing everything that you're supposed to do.
Sure.
I'm just wondering if there isn't something we could do to go the extra mile to make sure that people, businesses here in Washington are getting the word. And maybe it's because the economy is so good, nobody wants to take this on. That's a possibility too.
That may play. I think probably the biggest issue with this particular case is that it's a bridge manufacturing contract. So it's a really specialty contract for bridge steel fabrication. So it's fairly unique. I know there are several other companies that can do bridges. Many of them are like pedestrian bridges or wooden bridges. But I think the steel bridge is pretty few contractors can actually do that fabrication. Now, for construction, when we post these for actual install, this is just the purchase contract for the
Right.
manufacturing contract for the bridge. Then we'll have those delivered to our site and deliver those to the contractor that gets the construction contract, where they'll do the grading and all of the stream work that's associated with the projects. Those are almost universally local contractors, and that's where you're getting the laborers out on site. You're
Okay.
getting a lot of the big yellow equipment to the site. That's where it really is crucial and would make a huge difference on cost to have more local contractors. I don't know if that helps at all.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I like to create local jobs if I can.
Understood,
You
yes.
know, so, is there any chance you could at least look at, maybe nobody here does it too? I mean, and just let me know that if there's,
Sure.
then I can quit bugging you guys
Oh,
about it,
absolutely,
possibly.
yeah. I can look into that and find out who we have for potential bridge contractors or manufacturers, and we can compile a short list.
And I know I'm not supposed to be going out as a commissioner and soliciting, you know, with an individual entity, but I might, I don't know, I might make comment in a professional magazine or something. I don't know. We're just, I'm afraid we're missing the boat. And if that's the case, we're not getting the best bang for our buck, possibly.
Exactly.
Possibly
Understood,
you're
yeah.
doing the best. I just don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Kind of like the previous issue.
So I have a question for Romero. In your previous role as the Public Works Director, and even with Pierce County, and as a civil engineer, the extra mile that my seatmate's looking for, what is it? What is that extra mile?
So and I think
Not
what,
that you don't know, Steve, but I'm just asking.
So I believe what Commissioner Edwards is requesting, is there any places that we can advertise the bids more broadly?
That's kind of a professional magazine
So
or contractor's
we can
magazine.
probably look at those opportunities. I mean, there's always an opportunity to do so. What we cannot do is pick up the phone call
I know.
on a specific company and encourage them to apply or provide a bid. We cannot do that.
Yes,
That will be.
I realize that.
That will be
Appearance of favoritism.
against the
I
law.
want to stay on the right side of the law.
So that we cannot do that. Whether we can explore other areas where we can advertise any public works projects, certainly, I believe there's always opportunities.
Okay, so this contractors get the two steel bridges, and then it by and large goes to local outfits to do the rest of the work.
Exactly, yeah. The installation, the grading, like I said, the stream work, everything associated with the on-the-ground work will be done by, again, most of the time, it's a local contractor, occasionally from Thurston County, sometimes from Pierce County, from Grays Harbor County, local.
Got it.
Sure.
Someone who can drive in nearby. That's where the labor costs are closer. That's where the savings
Okay.
are.
Good.
Any more? Okay.
I'm good. Thank you,
Thank you,
Steve.
If you have
Steve.
a-
And
if
he
you have
has
a
some good
moment-
news to share
If
with
you
the
have a
board.
moment,
Sure.
on Friday, Trevin Taylor and I were invited to go up to an awards ceremony, invited by one of our consulting engineers, who had applied for the American Council of Engineering Companies Award for our Fish Passage program that they designed one of the projects, actually two of the projects for. Now, they applied on behalf of our program, not just the two that they designed, but we did win. We won the silver award in the nationally considered ACEC Awards banquet, which, to be honest, I didn't know very much about prior to the event, but it turns out that it is, they call themselves the, it's slipping my mind at the moment, they're calling themselves the Oscars of engineering. So it was a very significant event, a lot of consulting engineers in attendance, some incredible projects, and we were recognized among those incredible projects. So
Fantastic.
we were very excited to be part of that.
Yay,
So
good
this will be
job.
our third category of win, actually. So we've won from a
Yeah.
public works perspective, which is what we do. We've won from an environmental stewardship perspective, and now we've also won from a design engineering consulting side perspective as well.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Does the
And
board
please-
need to authorize purchase of a new trophy case for you guys?
I think
Filling
we've
it
already
up.
got that in the works.
Please pass on to
So-
Trevin and any others, our sincere appreciation.
Will
And
do,
it
yes.
makes my chest swell with pride.
Absolutely. We're very excited and happy to be part of the program.
Wonderful. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
That takes us to agenda item number 5, the emergency services. Kurt Harden, of course.
Yeah, you also reviewed this item, Commissioners, and for your considerations to renew the existing contract that we have with the Olympia Emergency Services for a medical program director. This is already included into 2020 budget, and the contract just need to be renewed. This has been reviewed by the EMS Counsel and has provided a recommendation for the board to approve the renewal of the services. This has a ceiling in 2020, annual ceiling of $129,780. And that doesn't mean that is going to be spent. All that amount is based on somewhat of a fee for service, depending on the needs by the doctor in this case. And I believe you asked if you have any questions. Kirk Harding is here. He was able to provide additional perspective last week, but he's also available today.
Any questions? You?
Not necessarily for Kurt, but I do have a question for the county manager.
Yeah.
The dollars coming from,
Oh, this is a medic one. Yeah.
so not out of our
It's-
general fund?
It is not general fund. No, thank you.
And as you mentioned, that board has made unanimous recommendation that we proceed. with
The
this, is
EMS
that right?
Counsel, yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Agenda item number 6, PHSS, the Arcora Foundation and Grant Agreement.
So the Ancora Foundation in Choice Regional Health Network launched a couple of years ago what they call the Thurston Oral Health Network. And it really is dedicated to provide services to community education around oral and dental health. And it is also intended to coordinate the school-based dental sealing clinics, which is highly recommended as a bit of evidence-based to approach and prevent tooth decay among children. In 2019, we received a grant of $71,145. We were not able to spend all that money. And in fact, there was a remainder of $23,858. We run the risk, they're returning that money entirely. So staff has gone through the process of negotiating with Ancora to get if we can move $9,000 as a carryover into 2020. But still, we have to return just about $14,800 back to the grantor. And the reasons as to why we couldn't deliver the services because those are Medicaid-related services, so there is a specific group of children and within the schools that need to receive that. And since this is somewhat of a brand new grant, the school district didn't understand in a way, that's my words, as to how this program should be implemented because they felt there's only a few children can benefit from this program. But I think staff from Public Health and Social Services has gone over that and started expending that money, but we just really run out of time. So the proposal for you is to authorize the amendment of the agreement to bring $9,000 from 2019 and extend the existing contract to June 30, 2020, so we can maximize this grant.
I guess my concern is that we weren't able to come up with enough kids, and I'm just going to say Rochester. I know there's some limited income folks down there. And I know that oral health has a lot to do with overall health. Mm-hmm. But yet we weren't able to make that work with the school or what? I don't understand how come we couldn't get those folks in. I mean, if it meant our ability to fix some underprivileged folks' teeth, and we weren't able to do it, and I'm curious why that is. Or maybe I'm off base on that.
Because it's a brand new grant, so there was a little bit of coordination with the school districts, as I understand. They need to understand what the requirements of this grant. And the information that I have from the staff, the school district felt that perhaps this grant was coming to their school districts is only served only a small group of children who qualify under Medicaid. And that was a little bit of the concern they had. But I believe the staff have worked with all the school districts and they started spending the money to achieve the intent of this grant, which just ran out of time. And that is what it was.
Okay.
All right, thank you. That was 6A, now 6B, DSHS.
But if I can go back to that item, so I have
Sure,
addressed
sure.
this with the Director of Public Health Social Services, Shelley Slaughter, and one of the objectives that we need to have is making sure that we do whatever we can in this upcoming year, not just in this grant and any other grant, that we do not return any grant money or any money to the state or any grantor. And that is one of our objectives in 2020.
Okay, I just want to throw one thing. I don't want to spend money willy-nilly, but I do want to, if we can help some kids, because I know there's a connection on health issues. Gosh, I can't imagine why we couldn't have had a bunch of kids going in, getting their teeth cleaned, cavities, whatever it took, you know, to
No.
make life better for them.
No, and my comment was not intended just to spend the money, because it's just to make sure that we implement those programs accordingly to make sure that we meet the intent of the program and deliver the services intended to.
Yeah, it was troublesome returning money that's been given to you, especially when you think the need may be there anyway.
Well, and that was,
exists.
when I learned this new information, that was my concern.
Yeah.
And I did reach out to the director, and we have a commitment to work to make sure that doesn't occur, to the best of our abilities.
Sure.
Sometimes it's out of our abilities.
Thank you.
Thank you,
control.
Merrill. Now the EJAZ access agreement.
You also review this item. This is more, does not have a financial element on this proposal. This is for you to authorize a local agreement with the Department of Social and Health Services with the state for the county to allow access to the web-based electronic jobs automated system, which is important for us to get subcontractors and professionals for children and youth and families. And that is related to the NFP, some of the providers they provide. So we need to have access to their professional list through the state holds, and this is the instrument in which they will give us that ability to access to. This agreement has a duration of November 1st, 2019 through October 31st, 2021. And again, there is no dollar associated with this local agreement.
And you said NFP, and for anybody else that doesn't know, that's the Nurse
The Nurse Family Partnership Program.
Partnership.
Yeah.
Anything on that?
Sounds straightforward.
Yep. Okay, good. The county manager update, Young Prairie Line Trail.
Yes, you reviewed this item last week, Commissioners, and you provided direction for us to bring a formal resolution for your consideration. For the board to support the efforts related to the Yelm Prairie Line Trail. I have a review of that resolution already done by Elizabeth, and I will circulate that today for your review before you take an action on that. And again, I believe the desire of the board was to have this resolution for your agenda tomorrow. Also, on your discussion last week, was that you wanted to perhaps sign a letter of support on the same terms. And as soon as you consider adopting this resolution, we have a support letter for you to sign as well.
Okay.
Nope. Okay.
But I'll circulate that resolution this morning for your review.
And then we get on with the boards and work assignments and sessions that we've attended, and then you go through our week. And that concludes the agenda for Tuesday, January 28th at 5:30 p.m.
Right.
on Carpenter Road in Lacey at the Washington Farm Bureau. And at the risk of being redundant, tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, we're going to review this agenda again.
No.
No, we're going to
You
go into
will-
the following week then,
Yeah,
February.
we'll be reviewing the agenda for February the 4th.
Okay, good.
And we'll go back to the normal agenda setting agenda.
Okay.
Also, but also you have a special meeting tomorrow as a Board of Health.
A special meeting.
Yeah, to review the special meeting agenda for the afternoon Board of Health, which has been scheduled for 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
it.
The intent of having that special meeting of the Board of Health, we need to clean the language as to your appointment for the interim health officers. You took an action back in December, and Shelley outlined all the 4 health officers that will be providing support while we filled the vacancy. It was led by Dr. Wood. Some of the nuances in that ordinance was not specific in terms of naming individuals, so I have worked with Elizabeth Petrich. We have a brief resolution that will address and clean up that resolution just to make sure that we're aligned to
good.
the intended purposes. That is really the only item that I have for you on the special meeting, Board of Health. And tomorrow at 3 o'clock, we'll convene here as a Board of Health and consider taking an action. But in the morning, we'll review the agenda. And in fact, before this meeting, I just had a meeting with Elizabeth and Shelley just to clean up the resolution. As soon as I had a final draft, I circulated for your review as well.
Great, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Are we going to get briefed on this virus business out at
Tomorrow morning is
China?
in your agenda.
It is on the agenda, okay.
Anything? All right, so now we're getting into commissioner items. And I'll start to my right, I'm to the left.
You can start.
Okay, you have an item? Oh, you don't, okay, I do. Is there an update on Offutt Lake? Will we get that tomorrow as well then?
Tomorrow.
Okay,
You asked for
perfect.
tomorrow, so we'll have that tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Gary. You have one yet?
Yeah. Okay. Let's see, point in time, I got goofed up on that. Last week, scheduling, so I think I don't have a report on the climate meeting. I think I'm getting an update from Chris on that this week, I think, right? Okay. The China thing, we're going to get that tomorrow as well.
China?
That's the
virus
coronavirus.
The coronavirus.
Oh, coronavirus, yeah.
Okay, I'm good for now.
Okay, you have nothing?
Yeah, not ready to really talk about today.
Okay. And I'm spent. We'll get an update on the pit tomorrow at all from Keeley on the point in time?
Yes, that will
Yeah,
be
I'm
part of
sorry.
her update.
Okay.
Oh, that was Thursday, right? I was
And if you cover for me, I
17
know
other
you did.
places that day, but
Thank you for covering for me too.
yep.
And that's it.
That's it.
Do you have anything further? Robin, anyone? All right. Thank you very much. We're adjourned.